I've had many people ask me, because I did a podcast with Kevin and I called him the most interesting Moran. And I'm not sure that that's an accurate title. He had many adventures and certainly did. Why are you making that face?
Continue.
Well, because the more I think about it, like, you did something that I desperately wanted to do, but I mean, mom and dad mom shit on it so fast. And when I went to live with Joe and Kay, and I had taken that year off from Fisher, and Peter and I drove out to Denver to look at the University of Boulder, Colorado,
Right.
and I really wanted to go to school there.
Right. I
And
remember.
I had dreams because my friend Michael Murray had been killed in a car accident.
Right.
That I came back for the funeral.
Huh.
And I dreamt that I came back for the
Were
funeral.
you out there when he
Yeah.
died? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
I was out there when he died. And I dreamt that I came back, and in my dream I said, all right, I got to get back to Utah. And mom's like, oh, honey, the summer's almost over. You're not going back. And I woke up in like cold sweats, no lie. And then when I said to her, hey, listen, Uncle Joe's saying I should really go to the University of Durango, or I should go out here, I should transfer. Do you know how far it is? Do you know how the plane tickets are? Blah, blah, blah. Now, you're 5 years younger than me, but you went to the University of South Carolina. Now, there was a reason that that worked out for you, but I almost wonder if, in a way, it wasn't one of the greatest things for you.
Oh, South Carolina?
Just to be that far away. Yeah. I don't know that South Carolina may or may not have been. I'm not sure of that. But to have that far away, like, you really, there was no.
No,
you know, people would go home on the weekend.
Couldn't turn around and go home on the weekends.
Right.
Couldn't get mom to do your laundry.
Exactly.
I couldn't get mom to do my laundry when I was home either. So nothing new there.
No. But I was thinking about that, but you've had these obstacles come up along the way in your life, starting with Lyme.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was something that, Lyme disease is not real well researched. I don't think real well funded. I just saw a thing on, maybe it was CBS Sunday Morning, where a high school class found some way to neutralize Lyme disease.
Interesting.
Yeah. And they came in 4th or 5th in the world competition, but many teams from Beijing had won. But it was about Lyme. And I often thought of you because you were in high school, you could hardly move.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it got that bad.
Yeah.
And you have been an athlete. You were on the field hockey team. And
newspaper and all that. Yes. And I missed half of my senior year of high school because I got it babysitting over the summer in August.
Okay. And they didn't know what it was.
I started getting sick pretty quickly, and they didn't really know what it was. Yeah. And then I was pretty much out of school until about January. I would go when I could. They were very nice. Let me just drive in, show up when I could, leave when I wanted to.
Right.
But it sucked. It was my senior year. I wanted to retake the SATs, and I couldn't. I was applying to colleges, trying to figure out where I wanted to go, and I really couldn't visit any place because I could hardly walk.
Was there a first choice in your mind?
No, I think at the time.
We're sitting on my sister's couch in her living room.
Okay, in all honesty, and I'm not trying to piss you off, Mother, because I know you're going to listen to this. It was not about pissing her off. It was the fact that, you'll understand this. We grew up in a very small town.
Yeah.
Most of the people I was graduating high school with, I had known
since kindergarten.
So
5 years old, maybe.
Nursery school.
Yeah, 3 years old.
I still thought of the girl who joined the class ahead of us in 5th grade as the new kid. So there just wasn't a lot of change, and things were very fixed. And I always felt like, there's a lot of world out there. Now, maybe South Carolina isn't the best way to go if you want to broaden your perspective and your insights. However, I felt like I needed to be in a place where I couldn't turn around and go home easily, and I had to figure it out. And also in a place where I wasn't going to turn around and see anybody that I knew. or that knew me. So then I could kind of maybe start sorting out what's me, what's them, what's, where do I fit in?
Really, really like insightful that you're saying this.
And yeah.
Like
And
I think
that
so
was
for
a
that age.
big,
I think that's really insightful.
that was a big motivator for me.
Yeah.
More
So going
than,
far away.
yeah.
So where did you say the top choice was, or you didn't?
I'm trying to remember. Everything was really truncated because of Lyme.
Lyme. I just remember it screwed you up. I remember Dad being so upset and getting you the shillelagh, and they gave you extra time between classes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I do think sometimes when somebody who's so young and presents so healthy that you're not believed right away. I don't know if that was the case.
Yeah. No, that definitely was the case. And I think that's had a effect on how I uh, have handled other medical things that have come up by waiting
To the last minute.
to the last minute.
Yeah.
But because we were trying to figure out what was going on, I did have, I think, a positive Lyme test, but then some doctors felt like it wasn't. I don't know. Who knows? It was a long time ago. And so I know our doctor. What was his name? Tesserero.
Yeah, he wasn't. I never had him, but yeah.
Okay, so his
But he was
daughter
a
had
mom and dad.
Lyme. He was
Yes.
very knowledgeable, and he thought it was for sure Lyme. But being a good physician and trying to cover his bases, he did send us to a rheumatologist, and the rheumatologist brought us into his office and said that he thought I should go see a psychologist because there was really no medical reason.
Do you see? Like, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Young,
Yeah.
presents well. There's got to be something wrong.
Yeah.
And I think they had a whole thing in Roy, New York, a couple years ago, where all of a sudden several girls were presenting with tics, and they couldn't explain why.
What?
Tics in terms of like.
Oh, tics with Lyme disease.
No. I know we're talking about Lyme. My bad for saying that. But it was like tics, and it's really convergence is what they say. Well, convergence is in your head. Well, no one wants to hear it's in my head.
Right.
They don't, because that means I'm crazy. But convergence isn't. It's where it's in your head and it manifests then in your body.
Right.
But that wasn't the case with you.
No, it wasn't.
He's saying, well, it's not rheumatoid arthritis. Thank God, right? You really don't have anything arthritic about your joints. There's really nothing wrong with your joints. Meaning that I still had range of motion, even though they were painful to me. I still had range of motion, which you don't have if you have arthritis. So he had us come meet in his office, and he was saying that he thought the next step would be to see a psychiatrist or psychologist. And I, at this point, had been sick. I think it was around November or December, and I'd been sick since August. And so I saw he had pictures.
So you didn't play any sports that fall?
No, I didn't. I couldn't
You
do
couldn't
anything. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I was sleeping all the time. I was sleeping on a recliner. I couldn't sleep flat in bed. I couldn't.
And I know this sounds weird, but I wasn't home. I didn't live there at the time.
Right.
So I didn't see a lot of this.
Right. Yeah. So I was sleeping downstairs in a recliner, dad's recliner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a cane and a shillelagh. There were days I couldn't really walk at all. Yeah, and it was my senior year. So I had been really big in school plays. I had played field hockey. I was in band. I was the editor of the school newspaper. I wanted to take the SATs again. I couldn't do any of this. I was sleeping all the time. I was absolutely exhausted and hurt. I was in a lot of pain, and we were just trying to get to the bottom of what was going on. So
Psychologically, that's so tough.
yeah.
And that's the part that I don't know that anybody has ever thought of. Because I don't remember anybody saying, and it was their senior year.
Yeah, it was my senior year, and it was very isolating. So where I had my core group of friends, they were all doing their shit, being crazy, having a good old time, enjoying their senior year. So when I did get to come back and it was kind of a slow ramp up, all this stuff had happened. New friendships had formed between people I wasn't really friends with. And yeah, so I was left out of a lot of stuff. Yeah.
But they did
Good
do
times.
penicillin shots, right?
Right.
And then that worked. But when did that start?
So I had been on massive doses of antibiotics since Tessero thought it was Lyme. He just kept me on about 2,000 milligrams of antibiotics a day.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was Ceftin and Biaxin. And when those weren't working, and we had this, rheumatologist who said it was in my head. And the rheumatologist, right, so I left this part out, but when we were in his office, he had some pictures of his family up, and I said to him, is that a picture of your daughter? And he nodded. And I said, she kind of looks like she's my age. I said, I'm 17 years old. I'm a senior in high school. I've had to give everything up. Why do you think this is in my head? I was on field hockey. I was editor of the newspaper. I had the lead in the school play. I can't do any of this. I'm missing my entire senior year, and you are telling me I'm making this up? What would you do if this were your daughter? And he kind of sighed, like he was like, and told me.
Sided in frustration or
I
sided?
don't know.
Yeah,
It was like,
right.
I don't know what to do because in my professional opinion, you don't have, in my
Yes.
purview, right? In my domain of practice, you're not presenting with anything arthritic. And you're not showing, a very strong positive test for Lyme.
So you had a 17, where you hear those kind of questions come out of a 17-year-old? On some teen drama where a 45-year-old wrote the script. Like, you actually said this to the guy?
did, yeah.
This is amazing.
I said it to him. And he kind of sighed and he said, well, why don't you go to physical therapy then? And he's like, at least maybe they can help you. They can help you, whatever. I don't know. He didn't know what to do. Right. And I broke down. I was sobbing in his office and I was really pissed off. I may have yelled at him too. To have to ask Marge, I was really pretty angry. But we kept working with Tessero. He was very convinced it was Lyme. So around December, he was saying, he's like, well, there's one, he said it could be that, so not to get too into the weeds, but Lyme is like syphilis, which they tested me for behind my back at 17 years old, is a corkscrew-shaped spirochete. Okay. And so it can burrow into tissue between your joints and things like that and hide out. And when it's not in your bloodstream anymore, you're not producing antibodies anymore. So when you're taking antibiotics, they're killing off the pathogens that are in your bloodstream. You're not producing antibodies anymore, but you can still have Lyme. This is what Tessero explained to us. And so just taking oral antibiotics is sometimes not enough to actually get to the bacteria. So he was suggesting intravenous antibiotics, which were going to be unbelievably expensive. And he said, there's one more thing we can try. Let's do old-fashioned penicillin shots and just see what happens. It could be enough. So I think it was once a week. I think so. It was either once a week or I think it was once a week because I remember those bruises were fresh. Yeah. Right in the booty. Pull down. I get to pick.
Really?
I get to pick the spot on my cheek. And it was thick.
Your ass turned into a pincushion.
The penicillin was really thick, so the needle was really thick, and you could hear it.
Oh!
Yeah, you could, you could hear it.
Oh, my God.
Slosh into your, it hurt, and then you had to rub.
Oh, my Lord.
Rub it into your butt, and then I'd get these big bruises, and they said if it was working, I would get a flare-up of my symptoms. They'd get worse, and then they'd start to get better, and that happened. I got really sick after the first two.
Fever with that?
Probably, I don't remember.
Okay.
And then I was getting better, and they're like, okay, it seems to be working. So we did that until I was several weeks symptom-free. I don't remember what the threshold was. But that was a lot of antibiotics.
Yeah. And which is terrible on your system and can really, your digestive system, you can be, you're sneezing at your hiney after a while with that stuff. I mean, that's not fun. But it got better. I thought by spring you were better. And then you went to the University of South Carolina. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that you couldn't go see other colleges, as you said, with the Lyme disease. What happened with Lyme while in college?
I would have flare-ups every once in a while. Worse than that, I got sick all the time. So I got mono before I went to college. I got really sick with mono the summer before I went to college. Then when I was in college, my sophomore year, I got extremely sick with strep throat. They almost hospitalized me because it was not responding to antibiotics.
And is part of that due to the fact that you were on so many, or is this how Lyme works too?
No, that was
So
that
many.
was the antibiotic
Right,
resistance.
you just,
yeah,
By that point, your body's going, fuck this.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh man, Kate, I didn't know any of that. Or if I did, I forgot it. But I did that a lot. Whoa. Oh, I thought she was biting my crotch. I thought she.
Don't mess with her mama.
I know. The rest of your life, it's been, you'll have flare-ups and things.
Oh yeah.
And you've gone, but there's no, how do I say it? I think most of the doctors that deal with Lyme are considered holistic and aren't usually covered by medical insurance or PPI or whatever.
Yeah, it gets really tricky because,
There's
it's
things that work.
There are things that work. So I had a flare up when I was living in Atlanta and I was in grad school about 15, it was longer than that now, 20 years ago. And it was very weird. It was not like my first time with Lyme. I got like pain on only the right side of my body. Like extreme pain in like my arm all the way down to my fingers, my leg from the hip to my toes. I could hardly walk. It got worse and worse and worse. A lot of brain fog, couldn't think, would be talking, and it just felt like the words were falling. I could not hold a thought from beginning to end. The words, it was like word salad.
Yeah.
Like it was like every word was on a conveyor belt and just falling off the edge of a cliff. There was no cohesion. And I was teaching and I was a grad student, so I did not have good health insurance. I was taking public transportation. I remember I lived upstairs, so it would take me forever to get downstairs to get to the train. And then the train was this long hallway and I'd just stand there and be like, it's all right. Just one step at a time, just one. It doesn't matter how many trains pass, just one step in front of the other. Because I couldn't really take time. I couldn't take time off. I tried to see a doctor there. Anyway, you were asking about Lyme doctors.
I think this is amazing because what I would say is so many people would have had Lyme I've never known anybody to have Lyme. And if I did, they never talked about what the symptoms were and stuff. So to know that you dealt with all that, a lot of people would hold them back. I think I really do. I think that in some way it becomes something like I don't know if my Lyme, and who can blame you if that's how you feel. Yeah. You didn't stop.
I guess not.
No, I mean you didn't. You went to grad school,
but I think it was like, for me, this is why Mustafa, my husband, is like, oh, well, you'll muddle through anything. Because I think there was this thought of like, if I go to a conventional doctor, they're going to test me for Lyme. I'm not going to show up as positive. They're not going to know what's wrong with me. They're not going to be able to treat me. And this is going to go nowhere except to the fact that I'm crazy. So I know I'm not crazy. I'm just going to take this off. I'm just going to figure things out on my own. When I was in Atlanta, I did, because you were saying, so then you find a doctor who is Lyme literate, in quotes, right? But some of them are snake oil peddlers. You have to be so careful. And then how do you know, right? You don't. So you've got the ones they've lost their license to practice medicine, but it's, because people are calling them a heretic because they are saying that this is real and it's not in somebody's head and that it can present this way and this is a good way to treat it. And then there's other people who are also saying that, but they're like charging $10,000 to shoot lasers in your veins. And I'm not freaking kidding. There's a woman I went to see and that was how she wanted to treat me. She wanted to shoot, and maybe it works for people, I don't know, but I was not paying $10,000 to have light shot into my veins.
Wow.
Okay. But the guy I saw in Atlanta, people think he's a total quack, and he charged an arm and a leg. They had some homeopathic things. One was cat's claw, Peruvian cat's claw, and one was Cemento, I think it was called. And I took them, and I would get, it's called a Herxheimer effect. You have a flare up, then you get a little better. You take it, and it was, you titrate it up with these, there were drops, little drops, and they worked. So then I was like, okay, great. I found something that works. I know where to get this. Like if this happens again, I will just do this. I'm not seeing another doctor. I'm done. But it did come back. I was on disability from my job here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't think here's the thing that I find interesting, and I do wonder if this isn't necessarily a bad thing at all, that mom and dad were I don't know, they weren't not caring. I think that there were a lot of times where I feel like dad was a little more tuned in on certain things, but whatever. You understand what I'm saying?
I have no idea what you're saying.
All right, thank you. But I would say that it wasn't caring, but it was also like there was never it was never said don't use this as an excuse. It was just you just weren't going to use it as an excuse. I think for all of us, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying, but I mean this, Jesus Christ. Like, I don't think I really, until we're sitting here talking now, knew the gravity of this, because I'm sitting here thinking, would you call Lyme disease one of the most impactful things on your life, to where you have been able to almost handle a lot, maybe way more than most people, because you just muddle through? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't think about it that often.
Sure. Why would you?
Well, when it's not flaring up, the kids are always like, "Oh, how are we call them Lyme bones?" Because I can predict weather change. Like, oh, storms are coming.
Yeah, you can feel that.
Yeah, changes in pressure.
Yeah,
changes in pressure, and I feel much better in general in high pressure. In fact, it's when I'm in high pressure, like when we were out in Maui or I'm out west or something, when we were in Denver. That I'm like, holy shit, I could feel this good all the time. Like, you don't even realize how bad you feel most of the time until you feel so freaking good.
You lived in Denver for how long?
Almost 4 years.
Yeah. And no real problems while you were there?
No Lyme. And in fact, I had another flare up here. The kids, I think Zara's about 6, so it was 7, 8 years ago. Is that right? She's 13. Yeah. And yeah, and I was on disability. We went the conventional, because health insurance. That was also where the person I found that was Lyme literate, who was not covered by insurance, wanted to shoot laser. So we tried the conventional route. Mustafa was shocked. He was absolutely shocked, because I was so exhausted, but I was like, I will take you on this journey if this is what we're doing. He's like, it's okay. Yeah, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Doctor 1, I don't know what's wrong with you. It's not Lyme disease. Doctor 2, go see infectious disease. There's nothing wrong with you. It's not infectious disease. Doctor 3, it's not arthritis. Go see neurology. Neurology wouldn't even touch me. Marge was in the office with me. The woman was across the room, and she goes, there's nothing wrong with your nerves. He was like, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, no, honey, I'm not kidding you. This is how it goes. Why I didn't want to do this? Like, I just need to
waste of time and money.
Waste of time and money.
Right.
Yeah.
But then there were some of the I guess we call them non-conventional, the holistic doctors that did work, but they were super expensive.
They're super expensive, and there are some that are absolutely doing wonderful, wonderful work. There is someone, starts with an H, Horowitz, Dr. Horowitz, and I think he's based in New York. There was so much Lyme in the Hudson Valley.
Yep.
And he was doing a lot of work up there, and he's written a lot of books. And so I used a lot of his protocols, again, on my own, where I would order from the, reputable, not Amazon, but reputable places, and follow their, one was the Cowden protocol. But you're talking thousands of dollars in supplements. And also you're like, I'm not a doctor.
Has it gotten better as you've gotten older? Do you have, I don't know.
I haven't had a bad flare up in a while. Sometimes I'll have a flare up. I can tell the difference when it's it's really hard to describe, but there's a difference. I can tell when it's temporary, and I can tell when it's going to hang in for a while. And it's something in my brain. I can feel the difference in my thinking. And
Really? So almost like where they talked about with COVID, where you get the foggy thinking and things. Yeah.
yeah. The brain
And
fog is
for someone
horrible.
like you, as a thinker, yeah, it's a because you go to the University of South Carolina. Did you go overseas when you were there and study abroad?
Yeah, I did. I studied
Oh, that's right. You were in.
the University of Hull. You know where that is?
Yes.
Halfway between Dull and Hell. That's
No,
what
but
we used to joke.
I-
No, it's in Northeast Yorkshire. Yeah,
That was when we used to make fun of you. 'Cause-
used to.
no, I don't still make fun of you. But there was.
No, you came to visit me, you jackass.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
you
I know.
remember?
I do remember. But I don't know. You went to.
Oh, Francesco.
He used to call the house, and Kevin and I would listen. They were going back, like, because you could pick up the extension and hear in, and we would hear him, "I love you so much, Katie." And then I think there was a time you stayed an extra week, where like there was spring break or something, and you flew down to see him, and then where you were gone for an extra week. I think I don't know. All I remember is whenever one of you did something, and it was usually like Kevin they didn't care. But if it was you, I would be like, oh, yes. Thank God. Oh, what am I paying for? He's gone for another week. He's ranting and raving. And yet at the same time, I don't think he cared tremendously as long as you were safe. I think that he was admired and maybe was a little envious that he hadn't taken advantage of those kind of opportunities. I certainly didn't. But I thought that was pretty cool, but still funny.
Yeah. That was a rekindled love from a pen pal.
What?
Yes.
Wait, okay.
So
That was like, was he an exchange student in Pine Plains?
yeah. For like a week when I was in 10th grade, we had pen pals. My pen pal was a girl named Judy. She stayed with us for 2 weeks, and he was.
God, I missed all this great shit. I didn't live at home. I was gone because I was 5 years older than you.
This was when shoot, what was that song? 10 Inches of Snow or something like that. Oh man, I can't remember. I'm getting vague memory. Anyway, so we hit it off, shall we say?
Yeah.
In 10th grade, right? With this budding romance. And then we wrote love notes back and forth to each other for the next 5 years. On and off. You know? So when I was studying in England, I let him know. Next thing I freaking know, he shows up on my doorstep.
Shut up. Yeah, holy shit.
I'm not kidding. He was sending me a lot of mixtapes, and he was saying that he was going to come, but his English was so-so.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how serious he was until he was there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of fun, though.
It was fun.
That's kind of fun.
It was fun. So we decided to take a train just for an adventure. We're going to go to another city. We're going to go to Leeds, see what Leeds was like.
Right.
Find a hostel there when we got there. Okay, so we take the train to Leeds. We're calling around. We can't find any place to stay. We're in phone booths, right? It's 1998, I think. 97, 98. We're in phone booths. It's winter. It's freezing freaking cold. We're ripping pages out of the phone book to try and find a place. We're calling every place. We can't find a hostel. We can't find we couldn't afford a hotel, right? And then we're like, all right, well, I don't know what we should do. My freaking wallet's gone.
Whoa. You get somebody pickpocketed you.
I didn't know what happened to it. My wallet was gone. And I was like, we got to go. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know how we're going to get, he had some money, but now we're waiting in the train station all night long so we could get 2 train tickets on the first train back to Hull the next morning. And I don't know what to do because everything, all my ID, all my everything, I'm an international student. It's all in that freaking wallet. And, so we were up all night in the train station because we couldn't, we weren't sure if we had enough money for 2 train tickets. So we weren't spending any money, right? We were being really careful. And I don't know, I guess he didn't have a credit card. I don't know. I just remember that. So we're freezing, we get out of the train, we go back.
So you did have enough for 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Made it back to Hull. And I think we had to walk 2 miles from the train station back to the
In the cold.
yeah. It's like crack early in the morning. And either that night or the next day, I don't remember where we got the phone call because they didn't have my number. A woman found my wallet in the phone booth in Leeds and took it home with her and gave it to her mom. And they found out I was a student that, they saw everything, right? Where that was an international student.
It's so weird because in 1998 you had to be a detective pretty much to
Yes,
find you. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And she found out where I was studying, and I don't know who they called because it was campus housing, but it was like a typical British row house with one phone, and that phone number wasn't in my wallet. So yeah, she did some detective work, got in touch with somebody at the university who got in touch with me, and she mailed my wallet back to me.
That's awesome.
With everything in it.
Yeah.
Not a dime taken out of it. It was crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah. And then Francesco stay around for a couple days, or
He did. I think so. I'm trying to remember. And then yes, I went for my spring break, or I feel like it was February.
That train story now, when you look back, right, in the moment, panic, scared.
Right.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't even know how I'm going to get back to the United States. I don't know how we could prove who I am. Almost romantic in a way. Now.
Of course. My favorite movie was Before Sunrise. So, right, to me, I was living out this little, European romantic fantasy. So I did go, it was over Easter. I went to see him over Easter. No, I don't know. Maybe it was February. It was 2 weeks. Dad's right. It was 2 weeks. He was studying in Rome. Oh my God, I had the best time. All his friends are artists. So they were taking me all around Rome. They gave me all these works of art. Like I had all these paintings people had made, chalk drawings. Everybody wanted to meet me and whatever, because I was the foreigner, right? They were giving me the back tour of all the, different monuments and places. And, we got to go see this one at night. It was so much fun. It was such a good time. He had family in Rome. And it was like hot goss that this American girl. So I'm invited to everybody's house for dinner.
That's amazing.
Doing the shots and doing that. And they had all the food. Nobody spoke any English. It was just bananas. And then, of course, he wanted to take me to his family. Yeah. But they lived in Sicily, in Modica, not close to Rome.
Right.
So we took a train overnight, and then the train went on a ferry.
Wait, the train goes on a ferry?
The train
I've
goes
never
on
knew
a
this.
ferry, and then you get off in Syracuse, I think. And his family met us there, and then took us to his. Well, so we go to his town. Ancient, medieval, beautiful little stone. Well, he picks a lemon off the tree, pulls out his pocket knife, hands me a slice. Like it's sweet, you could just eat it right off the tree, and we just had the best time. But I think a lot of it was I don't know what the hell anybody, looking back on it, the hell anybody, his parents, what the hell were they thinking of me? I don't know. Yeah. There was a lot of yelling and screaming, but I didn't know what they were saying. So,
well, look, you have a daughter now. She's 13. When she gets to be that age, would you encourage her to, I'm not saying,
to travel and
to travel, open yourself up to opportunities.
Absolutely.
I mean, they were on. This will probably go on a Tuesday that I'll drop this one, but they talked about all the trips you take as a family and how I think that's just amazing how much you've exposed them to the world. You didn't backpack through Europe, did you?
I did. I was the first one.
I don't remember.
Jesus, Billy, I gave you brother the idea.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Yeah, so my friend Anka from Germany, we were really good friends in Hull, and I just met up with her when we were in Croatia. Yeah, which was great. I hadn't seen her in, I don't even want to do that math, a long time. We went all through. We went all through Germany. We went up to Sweden. We went through, Netherlands. I'm trying to remember. We met our friend Andreas. We went through France. We spent like 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah. Backpacking around.
How cool! Really fun. Was that during the summer?
Yeah.
Primarily. Yeah. I would assume. Mm-hmm. And then you graduate from the University of South Carolina. I do remember going down to that. and then you go to the University of Georgia. How did that? I don't remember. What is this a bad
I'm
question?
laughing. No, not at all. But that's not how it went. I graduated from South Carolina.
Yeah.
So when I came back, I was ahead of the game. I didn't really have a major. I decided to declare philosophy as my major because of the way that philosophy worked in England. The courses were a lot longer, so they were worth more credits. So I came back with a lot of credits. And I could have graduated early. I didn't. But I took a lot of fun classes
Sure.
my last semester. And then I was like, shit, what do I do now? Like, what do I do now? Yeah, there was a career center. Had I ever stepped foot in the career center? Had I one thought about what I was supposed to do? Like when you're done with college. Crazy.
I don't know that it's crazy. I
Let's call it privilege.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Privilege for sure. So I was waiting tables and I did not know what I was going to do. I really had no plan.
Never moved back home.
No, I had an apartment with a lot of roommates and I was waiting tables and I was looking around. I was like, everybody's got a job. Like adults around you have jobs. Like just figure out what they are. Let's just see what the options are. And I was flying home for Easter and I was like, maybe I could be a flight attendant.
Yeah.
So I did that.
Yeah. You were a flight attendant for how long?
3 years.
And you based yourself out of Atlanta with Delta?
Yes, I was in New York with Delta.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
You were,
Yeah, for a little while, and then I transferred to Atlanta. I was in Atlanta, and then 9/11 happened.
Yes.
Right, and so I would have been furloughed because I was pretty junior. So I took a leave. They were offering you could take a 1-year leave, keep your health benefits, keep your flight benefits. So I waited tables. It was perfect. I went back to Delta for a while. They were doing another round of furloughs. I was going to be on the furlough list. This time they were offering, I think, 1, 3, and 5-year leaves, but no, keep your insurance, right? Just that you would be furloughed, you'd be offered your job back. So I thought about going to grad school. So I figured I'll do the 5 years. That way they can't touch me, if I'm in the middle of a program. And so then I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to study? So that's where I landed on. I always wanted to teach in China.
Yeah. Why?
That's a good question. I think it was more the travel. Like I really wanted to see other
Asia.
parts of the world.
Yeah,
wanted to
sure.
see
I mean, it's
Asia.
almost the Western
It was a
world.
big thing. A lot of people were teaching in China, so it seemed like a way in. So I started volunteering with Literacy Volunteers of Atlanta, teaching English. So I had a 2T named Genevieve from the DRC, and we became really good friends, and I really loved it. And so I kept tutoring her all through grad school.
Really?
Yeah, she was great. And so then I started the master's in TESOL, so teaching English as a second language. I was dating Mr. Not So Nice, we call him at the time. This is after Francesco. And he didn't like to travel at all. And he was really not on board with the teaching in China thing. So then I was like, I'll be a flight attendant, then I can travel. So when I went back to grad school and we broke up, when I got into the PhD program, because I was after my master's degree, I had a professor I really loved, and she was really encouraging me to apply to oh my God, I don't think you've ever heard this story.
No.
All right, so I'm dating Mr. Not So Nice. He's moved to Atlanta. We broke up when I was a flight attendant. We got back together. We're now living together in Atlanta. We've been together for about 7 years. And she said, so I'm meeting with this professor. She's like, I really think you should apply to the PhD program. It's a new program. This would be really good for you. You should do this. And I'm like, yeah. And I kind of ignored her because I knew this was not in the works if I wanted to stay with
him,
with Mr. Not So Nice. So one day, we're getting close to the application deadline, and she calls me into her office and she shuts the door and she goes, she was the nicest lady. She was an older woman from Alabama. She talked like this. Her name was Pat Burge. Wonderful, wonderful woman. I'd never seen her raise her voice ever. And she looks at me and she goes, have you applied? Because I have not seen your application. And I said, well. She looks at me and she goes, slams her hand down on the desk and goes, why won't you do what I asked you to do? And I was like, huh? She goes, I know you think that deadbeat boyfriend of yours has something to offer you. What are you going to do? Move back to the middle of nowhere, South Carolina? She's like, that is no life for you.
Wow.
She goes, now you go home and you get that application turned in. I expect to see it. And I was like, aye, aye, Captain. I was like, I don't, whatever. So I did. I turned the application in. The day it was due, I actually had to hand slide it under the fucking door because I was, after the office had closed and I was way past the date to mail anything anywhere. And I got in to the program and he told me that if I got in, it was over. He wasn't on board for this.
Did you care? I mean, you do. We all do to a certain extent, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I shouldn't have, right?
I don't.
But the funny thing was, the first person I told, because I knew as soon as I told him we were going to break up. So I was all excited. So I called my best friend, Mary Helen, who is in the mall in Fredericks of Hollywood. And she goes, she was from Mississippi, so she had a strong Southern accent too. She goes, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'll be right there, where can we meet? She's like, let's meet for a drink, Don't go home, don't tell him yet, don't tell him. So we met at Manuel's Tavern, which is this little old bar, it was a very democratic bar. Anyway, no matter, old historical bar in Atlanta. And she comes in, she goes, I didn't know what to get you. And she throws this little bag at me. She's like, I know they're not your size. And I pull out this extra large pair of a fringe thong.
Do you still have it?
I wore it to graduation.
Oh,
I
that's
tied it up, tucked
so
it in.
funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I still have it
fantastic.
somewhere. Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. So we had a good laugh. And then I told him we broke up. And I went and taught in China that summer.
Okay. I don't.
So it was my fault.
I don't remember who Mr. Not So Nice was. I don't know that I need to know. But and then from there you finish the PhD.
Yeah.
And then you got to go. Are you back to the same thing after like?
Oh, what am I gonna do?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, I think I'll be perpetually in a state of what am I going to do? It comes with the ADHD, I think. But no, so when I was toward the end of my program, and this is a boring story, there was a lot of politics. I got caught in the middle of a lot of stuff. I was getting a lot of really shitty assistantships and things. And Mustafa, who's now my husband, and I were dating. He is the reason I got, you know him. He's the reason I got, God, I'm getting all the stories out of me. So he's the reason that I was able to finish my dissertation proposal. Like I had to write the proposal. You have to defend, I'd done the comprehensive exams. You have to come up with a proposal, write that paper, get it approved, so that you can start your dissertation work. So that summer, I was supposed to be writing my proposal. We met in October, but that summer before, I had a wild summer. Just wild. And I was having a very hard time focusing on my work.
Sure.
Yeah. And then I met Mustafa. And I remember he lived in Chattanooga and he was an attorney. He was an assistant. He wasn't an
clerk,
ASA.
right?
He was a clerk for a federal judge up in Chattanooga. And so he would come down on the weekends and, you know, I was like, I have a lot of work to do. He's like, me too. I'm tons of stuff to do. Let's go to a coffee shop and we'll just work. So we go to the coffee shop and I'm being all cute, you know, get my latte. I've got my computer out and I'm kind of looking at him and waiting to chit chat. I'm looking at him and he's not making eye contact. And I'm looking at him and I kind of like, you know, kick him under the table and he's like, gets right back to work. He's just like Linus on the, Linus, like Schroeder on the piano, right? He has bent over that keyboard and I'm trying to, you know, waste some time and flirt and all this. Nothing. I got nothing. So I finally cracked the book open, started working, got into it, and I had the full rough draft of the proposal done by the time we left that coffee shop.
That's amazing. And you know, just we're here. It's Christmas this year. Mustafa, it's right.
I get it.
He like stuff just happens. It's like having a magic elf around. He just does everything.
Amazing.
He really is amazing,
So
and
amazing.
I wouldn't say that had I not witnessed everything he was doing,
Yeah.
because you've had some surgeries and things that were holding you back, the rotator cuff, and it's a lot to recover from. And it was like, but it was like nothing for him.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. He is incredible.
yeah. I
Hit the lottery.
It almost feels like it's magic in some way. I don't know what that is, but I can see where. Sure, you think you're going to go and flirt and play, and he wasn't having it. That's so
No.
funny.
But he honestly, even after that, so he then got a job out in Colorado as an assistant U.S. attorney, and he said to me, "You should come." And I was like, "We're not, we're dating." It felt serious. It felt like it was going somewhere, but like I'm finishing my dissertation. I have a lot of obligations where I am. Also, like, do you just up and move across the country? Like, all our family was on the East Coast. Like, for a guy, like, and I have to admit, there was a little bit of the, what does this look like to other people in my head going on too. But he was like, actually, he's like, I think he's always sold me on it. He's like, I think you got to, if you want to finish you want to finish your program, he's like, you've got to get out of here, because things were not going in my favor within the department. Yeah, right. So I decided he moved in September. I finished all of my data collection, finished out my teaching. And in December, Marge drove with me across country, out to Colorado. And I was going to we had this little apartment, and the apartment had like a front hall closet but it was supposed to be an office. It just had no windows in it. It was basically a closet. It had a little ledge where you could have a desk, but perfect, right? No distractions and just get your stuff done. So that was my plan. Like, I was just going to focus on, I had a ton of work to do because I had just collected everything. It was like a lot of sorting and analysis. So much work to do. So he was on a case, and he was gone for like a week. And when he came back, I found a job at the University of Denver. It's like I couldn't stand not working. So I started teaching there while I was finishing my dissertation. But he was right. Like, it was so much easier. Was it really? No, because then we got married, and then we had a baby, and then I thought I was going to be able to defend before she was born, and I couldn't quite crank it out. So I have a picture of me rocking her in a cradle 1 week after she's born, with my foot and my computer on my lap, finishing up a few chapters of my dissertation.
How many pages was the dissertation?
I think all in it was almost 300, 275, wow, something like that.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
Where does the, like, so when we were kids, you were the lead in school musicals put on by people who were in Broadway. Certainly, to whether or not someone yells at you to put in the application, you got to have the confidence to say, I can handle this. Or maybe you're like me and you just kind of jump and see where it goes. No, I'm okay. And but the confidence, there just seems to be, like, I don't know, you have no fear of stuff. Well, I don't mean it like that, but I feel like there's something with, as I look at it, a common thread, I would say, between you, Kevin, and I, is there's very little fear in failing.
I was terrified of failing.
I
was always terrified of failing. And it's funny that you brought up the school play thing, because I saw, we saw Oliver, whatever, and it looked like so much fun. And so when I was in 8th grade, I auditioned, or in 7th grade, maybe, I auditioned and got cut. And in 8th grade, I got a part in the chorus. And then in 9th grade, I was like the last person on the list. And then when I was in 10th grade, I had a chorus part in 9th grade. When I was in 10th grade, they were doing Once Upon a Mattress. And I don't know, because it wasn't like I was walking around the house singing, and it's certainly not belt
Right.
singing, right?
Yeah.
I just had a feeling that I might be able to do it. I didn't know, and you don't know how you sound to other people. So I really had no confidence in my ability to sing at all. Really wasn't.
But the confidence to go, I'm going to go out there and give it a shot.
You know what it was?
No, I don't.
Jansen Wu. So I had a really good friend, Jansen Wu, in high school, and he was a genius, probably still is a genius. Perfect pitch, could play piano, could play anything. So he was really kind of like, there were the theater kids who always got the leads and stuff. And he was like, we're going to show it to them. You can do this. And so he invited me over to his house, and he started playing, and he was coaching me. He's like, yeah. He's like, you got it. Like, louder from the diaphragm. Like, he coached me through that whole thing. And so I'd go to his house and practice my audition song. And I just wanted to see what would happen if I really, really like gave it my all. Like, right. And they had a piano player, and I asked if he could play for me, and they let him play. So he played my audition song, and I just did it. Yeah.
Okay, but I would say there's a confidence. The confidence is you get cut, you come back. Each year is a little bit more. But that first year of getting cut wasn't the end for you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this. So when I say like you're not afraid of failing, you took the shot, you got cut, you went back.
Right.
You took the shot, you got the cut, you went back. You believed you had a little bit of the ability, but didn't know how it sounded. So you had a friend who was endorsing you, who you fully felt. You said perfect pitch. It's a rare thing. I think the only person I've ever heard was Charlie Puth. I'm sure there's others that have it, but he has perfect pitch, and they're amazing, right?
Yeah.
So to have that, but I think like, you know, going off to England, going off to South Carolina when you after this awful bout with Lyme disease, and then. To me, I go, wow, that's for lack of a better term, because I don't have the vocabulary you do, that's ballsy. You know, I mean, it really is. You don't think so?
I mean, I've never thought of it that way before as being ballsy. I think, yeah.
Well, think about how most people, by their own choice, and I mean, how many times do we hear mom say, her friends' kids were going into teaching, and they were going to be a teacher, and it was her friends were teachers,
Right.
and their kids were going into teaching. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. That's a noble thing. If you're going to take a job that doesn't pay a whole lot and requires a whole lot, I think that's pretty amazing. But I would say, like, none of us, I don't know. I feel like maybe dad and mom too, to a degree. I mean, she certainly was somebody who got a master's at a time when women weren't, had a mother who grew up in that misogynistic, even more so, right, thinking. I mean, honestly,
Absolutely.
that's a woman's job. A woman doesn't go there. Education isn't. And she pushed through all that. So I feel like there's, you know, those things, like there was never, you never were told you couldn't. And you were never told you couldn't, and you were always encouraged.
They were cheerleaders, I would say.
Yeah.
To a degree, they were always.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, like, what are they going to think when I tell them I went to college and now I'm going to be a flight attendant? They were excited.
They got to fly.
They used that free airfare.
Yeah, sure
they went everywhere. They went to Russia. They went to Turkey. They went to South America. They went everywhere.
But you were young, and it was okay, and it didn't
And it was
matter.
fun.
And by the way, you could make a long career out of that if you wanted.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, but parts of it were a really good time. I got a drink named after me one time at a bar on Redondo Beach. They called it the Great Kate.
Why? What?
I was what's called a load factor on this trip, meaning that I was the fifth flight attendant. The other four were flying together, but this particular leg out to LA, they needed, because the passenger list count was so high, they needed a fifth person. It's called a load factor. So they were all going home. It was the end of their trip. I was laying over. It had a really long layover I remember being long for a layover, 24 hours, 30 hours, something like that. And I got in the morning. We took a red eye. So I took a nap, and I went down. I was in Redondo Beach. So I went down to the beach. There was a little beach bar right there. I parked my happy ass on that stool, and I drank all day. And I had the best time. People were coming. Apparently, this bar you could earn points. I got a wardrobe because people were giving me their points and buying me clothes. I got a T-shirt and a sweatshirt and a hat. They named a drink after me. It was men and women. It wasn't like it was just a good time. It was a good time.
That's amazing.
And I was by myself.
That's amazing. I
went back. It was all day too because it was because I had a day layover. So I was drinking all day. I had dinner, went back to bed, got on my flight in the morning.
Yeah, no problem. Wow. You know, there must be something in the blood because I think there's been similar stories like that. But and now you run a big program teaching English to high level learners, writing the curriculum for that. Correct? Wrong?
Not it's close enough.
I thought it was high level learners that came to learn English.
I'm the director of a scholarship program, so I'm not doing the curriculum or the teaching, but I'm kind of in charge of a couple of subcontractors we have with this program that's funded by the Department of Defense.
Yeah.
And then I do other things too because one job's not enough at a nonprofit. So the making curriculum is like something I do in-house. So I'm building out online courses to train teachers who teach adults.
Do you prefer the teaching?
I think for me, I get bored very easily, and I don't like a lot of administrative tasks and bullshit. And so a lot of what I'm doing right now is that. It's a lot of liaising between groups of people, keeping everybody happy, a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of tracking, a lot of meetings, very, very irritating. Creating the courses is more fun to me because it's a lot more creative. But I think, it's always annoying to me to have to spend the bulk of my time doing things that I don't really enjoy when there's just so many things to
Well, it's, we talked with your children and I brought up the Halloween costumes and how absolutely incredible they are. I mean, these are, to me, I don't know much of anything, but I would just think that, what do they say? Art is in the eye of the beholder. The stuff looks like it could be costume design winning for Broadway shows or movie sets or whatever. I asked each of your kids, Zara and Elias, what was their favorite costume they had, and they said they come to you with the idea, and then you make it happen. These things are outrageous. They're the coolest things I've ever seen in costumes, and you love doing that.
I do. I really do. It's like...
But again, the confidence, like they're coming to you with an idea.
I have no confidence in it. They told you. I break down every year and say, it's not going to happen, kids. It's never going to happen. I can't do it. I can't do it. And then I collect myself and I do it.
Well, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, I think you're allowed to have those moments of doubt because I think
sometimes they come up with things that are just defy the laws of physics, and I just don't know how I'm going to do it. Yeah.
I mean, Dad was very creative like that, and you and Dad were very similar. He used to always say to me, "Katie and I are on the same wavelength." It was almost like saying, "Tell me I'm stupid without telling me I'm stupid." That was what but that's how he would say it. And there were things about him like it's been an interesting year. I think more so for you. We haven't talked about it, but in Iceland you had a accident that involved the snowmobile and you being heroic.
Yeah.
Right, with your kid on the back.
Yeah, right. We're talking about that one.
I'm not asking. I certainly don't want to pry. I just know that was. I mean, you've had a lot.
Yes.
Like I would say, it's pretty heavy when your dad, when a parent dies, and we were all there at the end. Yeah. You and Kevin did more of the heavy lifting with him in the at certain points, which I always have appreciated greatly. But that is enough. And then, you go on a trip because that's what your family was planning to do. Yeah. He had already passed and the accident happened. But then it's all these, you're laid up with really significant injuries.
Yeah. Yeah, I was, I saved my baby girl from the crushing weight of a snowmobile, which if you ask her, she's like, well, it didn't really hurt that much. But anyway, at the time,
Sure,
we
at
were
the
on
time.
we were on a glacier. There's one rule with the snowmobile. We're all in a line, and that was lean into the turns. And it was the least fun trip. We had gone horseback riding. We'd done all the other things. It was only like day 2, but we'd already been in hot springs and all sorts of things. The glacier was one color from earth to sky. You couldn't see shit.
That's the snow blind stuff they talk about, right?
And then it was like misting because it was August. So it was like icy rain. You couldn't keep your visor down because it was just constantly covered. You couldn't see. It was foggy. You couldn't see 2 feet in front of you. So you're trying to follow the snowmobiles in front of you. Why on a 10-mile wide glacier you have to go around a hairpin turn? I don't know, but they had a lot of hairpin turns in there, maybe for funsies. And baby girl forgot which way you're supposed to lean. And the whole time, like, I'm steering, I'm like, God, this is so hard to steer. And I'm leaning as hard as I can into the turns. But when you have a counterweight, leaning
the
out
other
the
way,
other
'cause
side, it doesn't help. So anyway, we're going
it's
around
not
the turn.
intuitive the way you're supposed to turn on the way
It's
you're
not.
supposed to lean. It's just not intuitive.
It's not, right? And she had never been on a motorcycle or anything like that. So we slipped. It was like slow motion. We like flipped over, boom, 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 and I figured I was gonna just lay there and wait for the guides to come and pick the thing up. She was really screaming. She was terrified. I mean, the poor thing. She was absolutely terrified because other snowmobiles are starting to whiz past us.
Oh,
So I don't know if she thought they weren't gonna stop. And so
There's
she's
a chance they couldn't have seen it.
well, the guides there was one in the front, one in the back. Like it's their job to keep, keep count. And we weren't far off the trail. We were just kind of plopped right over on that turn. We just were on the outside of the turn, and they were going right around that, gesturing wildly. Right. So she is screaming, and I thought for sure her leg was broken. And I'm like, I feel like absolutely. I wasn't even thinking. I'm trying to pick up the snowmobile because she's just screaming her head off. And I can't because I'm also pinned underneath it. My leg is on hers. So the guides come over and they start picking it up. And she's like, stop. It hurts. My leg's stuck. And so I thought, that her leg was broken. So I was like, I've got it. I've got it. Get her leg. So I was holding it halfway up. They get her out and then they put the snowmobile up and they're helping her. And I'm like, just watching her and they, like, can you walk? And then they get her up and she's walking and she's okay. And I freaking lose it. I'm like, I can't breathe now. I'm like hyperventilating. I think I almost killed my kid. I'm like, if she broke her leg, like we're 45 minutes up a glacier and we were at a halfway, a base camp before that. How are we going to get her out to a hospital? Like, obviously she was fine, but now like it's all.
Sure.
So I'm freaking out. And then they're like, she's fine. Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. But I can't collect it. They're like, she's okay. And then he looks at me and he's like, you got to get it together. So I'm like trying to calm myself down. And he's like, you get to drive the rest of the way up? I was like, I know. So I got in the back, but we ditched the snowmobile. I got on the back with one of the guides. They zip us up to the top. We meet up with Mustafa and Elias, who now are like, it was you? There were so many old people and babies. We thought for sure it was one of them. Never thought it would be you guys. I was so humiliated. It was a pathetic little video. And I was like, we flipped over and I hurt my thumb. And then on the way back down, my shoulder started hurting. And anyway...
But you went through the rest of the trip.
Right. My hand blew up. It was all... Remember I sent you the picture? And I was like, you should see the other guy. Like, because my hand was all bruised and swollen. And I couldn't... My shoulder hurt a lot. I couldn't move it in certain ways. So when we got to Croatia, we went to Copenhagen for a few days. And then we went to Croatia. We were going to be there for a week. At least. Yeah, a week. I stopped and got x-rays. But it was like, I don't want to waste my vacation with doctors, right? So I get the x-rays. There's no broken bones. Was 48 years old at the time. Figure it's soft tissue. It's going to take its time to heal. So I go through the rest of the trip. I canceled scuba diving. There were things I couldn't do, but generally I was okay. And then we come back to life and kids start school and I'm busy at work. And, we've got dad's party we're working on and all that stuff. And I it was like 5 weeks later. Well, actually, Mustafa broke his hand in the in between time. And he could move his fingers. He's like, I think I'm going to get an x-ray. And then we found out it was broken. And I was like, because he said, I think I'm going to get an x-ray. And I was like, why? I'm like, you can move your, and then I was like, don't listen to me, honey. You want to get an x-ray? Get an x-ray. Like, I've been walking around.
But that was the mentality in our house. Right? If the shit, right? Because, I mean, with the 3 boys, if it wasn't for their mom, there would have been bones that probably grew back a little crooked and everything, because that was just the way it was. You jumped off shit, you did dumb stuff, and
right. So once his was broken, I thought, I'm not getting better. Like, I'm not. I got better to like a certain extent, and I'm not getting better. And I had this weird lump on my thumb. So of course you can't go to one doctor for a thumb and a shoulder, and of course one's on the left and one's on the right. And after all was said and done, I had ruptured a ligament in my thumb, and it had the like a rubber band snapping. The one piece had herniated under the muscle. Ugh. And then I had a full thickness rotator cuff tear and a bicep thing. So yeah, I had
and
a
so
fall
now
of
you're
surgeries.
all recovering from that in the middle of the holidays, and we come down and get drunk last night and stay an extra day.
It's good.
Oh, it was fun, but
It was a lot of fun.
I really think that sometimes when I think about you, I go, boy, that you're tough. You're tough. I know maybe you don't see it.
Well, it scares me, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's tough. I think I don't know what it is. I don't have a good connection between.
You've been
how
called
serious
you were
things are.
crazy with Lyme. I mean, I
know,
really think they
but-
were trying to tell you had convergence, which would be that it'll manifest in your body,
Right.
but it's all in your head.
Right.
We're not saying that the symptoms aren't real.
Right. But I mean, I think about like I had not to get into all my medical ailments, but I mean, I had thyroid storm, which doesn't happen because people when they start having those kinds of symptoms, they get it checked out before it becomes a crisis.
Yeah, but you don't complain either.
Well, I did try to have it checked out. I thought it was strep throat. We had little kids, and I just was, I was okay. You just keep going until I was really almost dead.
That is true.
Yeah, and then like I had Elias on my bed because I didn't think the baby had dropped yet. Like, and I was.
But I
in
do
pain.
wonder.
I was like.
Yeah, but I maybe you have a different. I don't want to say higher pain tolerance. Obviously, you recognize the pain, but maybe it's just in your mind. It's not that serious.
It's not that bad. It could be worse, right?
Yeah.
Oh, if this were like really close, if I were really about to give birth, this would be worse. I've had a baby before. It hurt a lot. This hurts a lot, but like it can't be that close. Yeah. Then 2 minutes later, there he is.
Yeah, I think though when you go back and go, boy, what a confidence you had, and I know you're going to probably disagree, but that's the thing that I've pulled out of our conversation that I don't know that I was aware of. I mean, obviously, right, to make the costumes and things, but even more so to say to a doctor at 17, is that your daughter, and draw an analogy that would really connect emotionally with someone, because a lot of times I would always say, like, especially with business, there's business and there's emotion. We like the people we work with. We feel bad. We do this. Business is cold. It's about profits and losses. That's what it is. It's money. Doctors are about making sense of what it is, and if it isn't something that makes sense, then it's not anything. And to have that, I find that, like, gosh, that's really like insightful and a confidence to say to the doctor in a way that will connect. That's not, I mean, that's why I said to you, it's almost as though it came out of 90210 and a 45-year-old grizzled writer wrote the line. It really does. I don't know any 17-year-olds that said that.
But I was pretty fed up at that point.
I can't
'cause
blame you, but still, you're
we had been to a lot of
17.
Yeah. We had been to a lot of doctors at that point before that. And I wasn't hearing that exactly, but it just was like, I'm sick and I'm actively trying to get better and I don't want to be sick.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that confidence, and then to just go to South Carolina, not come back, and I don't. What's that?
March was so bad.
Well, okay, but I mean, my thing too is that, but is she really? Because you raised an independent woman to go and have the confidence to do these things, at a time where still women were not paid as well, maybe respected as much, whatever. Maybe the case today. You had that. I guess I never really looked at it from that perspective, and I even remember as a little kid. I mean, you'd give it right back. One of my favorite stories was the one Dad told about taking your door off. Was that you were in college though, right?
I don't know. I was in high school. I think I was in high school. Yeah, I wasn't in college because I was still. No, I was in high school. I actually remember the bra I was wearing, so I was definitely in high school.
Yeah, he said, clean this room or I'm taking your door off.
Right. I am so sick of hearing your mother nagging me. You got to clean your room. She's giving you a rash of shit. She won't stop. You got to clean your room. And now I'm like, what was wrong with me? Clean your goddamn room, you pig. Like, come on. But that's not what I did. I said, I'm not cleaning my room. And if you don't clean your room, I'm taking your door off your hinges. And I said, fine. You take my door off the hinges. For every hour you have it off, I'm removing an article of clothing because...
How old were you?
I obviously didn't have Lyme, so I think I was 16.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
But do you see that? This is what I'm saying. The confidence. This isn't even like, this isn't like a fuck, I guess it is, but it's not a fuck you, verbal thing. This is a strategic, thought out plan that I'm going to do this and you are going to put the door back. And he folded.
He folded because I did. I sat on my bed, took my shirt off. He walked by, saw me in my bra. That's it. You win. You got to know when you lose. Sometimes you just got to know when you lose. Put the door right back on the hinges. It didn't take much.
I'm sure not, but I just go, that is so, like, it's brilliant it really is, in a way. It's diabolical. That's a little diabolical, but I appreciate it. I think that's pretty clever, and certainly your kids are a delight. And I think growing up, we all got along fairly well. I don't remember if I was too big a dick.
You'd like to think so, right?
Yeah.
No, we did. I think for the most part, we got along. We had our fights. Remember Alley Cat Stitches?
Yeah, I do. But I would send Chuck in to get you.
You'd hold me down and he'd claw me.
Yeah, I told you
that.
down.
You were involved.
No, I couldn't remember how it went. That's right. I held you down, and he would come over and scratch you. He had these sharp baby claws. That's right. Yeah, and he was the little Chucky doll.
Yes.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. Well, thank you for I love this conversation. I don't know how you feel about it. Yes, I figured it was, and I think insightful to who you are and what's made you, and the confidence and the creativity and the just a mind of that wants to do a lot of things, which I think is great. I was even saying to your kids, I'm like, you don't have to do one thing. No. You can do many. Yeah, sure. And do them well. But it's great. I love. Thank you for allowing us to come for Christmas and letting Jackson crash and do all that.
The best.
You have been a big champion of his for a very, very long time, and I think it's very special to him. I know that, and so that too.
He'll always. I don't care that he's 10 feet tall. He's my first little baby. Yeah. He's my first little. He's my godson. My firstborn.
He always and he loves his Aunt Kate, and every time he sees her, he's so big, and he gives you a hug. He practically swallows you up.
I know. That little. Oh yes. No.
I always say to him, buddy, you fit in my forearm. I know. He was 7 pounds and something ounces. He was not the bigger baby.
Little chicken.
Yeah, little chicken. Yeah. All right. Well, Kate, thank you for your time, your insight, the conversation, and your kids were great, and for a wonderful, wonderful Christmas.
It's been a lot of fun.
It has been a lot of fun. For my sister Kate, I'm Bill Moran. We'll see you tomorrow.